That's some free information.
What's that?
Free information.
Free information on what?
IVF.
On IVF?
Yep.
I just walked out of the clinic,
Yeah.
so I got a pretty good idea what it is.
Yep. So, are you're doing IVF then? They do several things here.
Yeah, we are.
Okay. How far along are you, if I can ask?
I'm on child number 2.
Okay. So you've done it once before.
Yeah.
Okay. Have they? You have any in the freezer right now?
I do.
How many?
A bunch.
A bunch. Okay, that's all I need to know. So I wouldn't know anything, honestly. So have you thought?
Well, you did though, because you asked the question.
I did.
Yeah.
So
you did need to know. For what you're wanting to do here, you did need to.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
Right. So I got a bunch.
Okay.
So what about it?
So I'm just asking if you've thought through like what you'll do with all.
Yeah,
all
we
of
have.
them.
We've
Okay.
discussed it, and that's none of your business.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we've discussed it.
Are you upset with me?
Huh?
Are you upset with me?
I'm upset that y'all have harassed my wife.
When did I do that?
I didn't say that you did. I said y'all, didn't I?
Okay. When did any of us do that?
I would bet that she'd say that at least one of the 4 of y'all have been out here
Okay.
when she's been here.
All right. No one is ever harassed out here.
Okay.
So that's why we film everything, is to show
No,
that.
that's fair.
Okay. Because people will accuse us of all kinds of stuff. I used to do this in front of abortion clinics and used to have the cops called out regularly and
Right.
all that. We have to do something to make sure that we have a record of what we're doing. So we've never harassed your wife or anybody for that matter out here.
Okay.
So that's fair.
So would you like to continue?
Yeah.
Or,
What would you like to say?
what do you want to say?
Well, I'm
Because you're
just-
the one out here to say something.
Yeah, I'm just asking.
So I'm curious what you have to say.
Okay.
Because I haven't been in each time that she's told me people have been out here.
Okay.
So that's why I stepped out.
I appreciate
Because I was
you.
curious what you were going to say
Yeah.
to me.
Okay. So I could just tell you what we say. As I ask people, like I've already asked you, like, what are your plans for the embryos that are in storage? Are you planning on having them implanted? Are you planning on having them adopted out? Because we believe that, life starts at fertilization. That's what the scientists say. And so those are human lives.
Right.
And so obviously
Those are my children.
those are your children. I'm glad you're saying that, because not everybody in the IVF world anyway, like the doctors, things like that, they don't necessarily always say that. So I'm glad that you have that understanding. So I just try to get people to think about that. Some people don't think about it like you're thinking about it. They think about it like the IVF industry talks about it, and they say, well, it's our property. They're not property, they're children.
I mean, it technically is, though, because you're renting space to store them.
Right.
So technically, yeah, it is.
Uh-huh. Right, but that's also human life. So
I understand.
You agree with that. You
Yeah,
agree with
I'm
that.
not arguing.
Right. And so that's what I'm just explaining what we do. And so I'll say to them, like, what are your plans? Have you thought about it? And sometimes they'll tell me.
But you haven't told me what you're trying to do.
I'm
You're
trying
just trying to raise awareness that frozen embryos are children. That's it.
No, I'm trying to get people. Yes, there's that for sure. And then another part of it is to get people to consider, if they haven't thought about what they're going to do with those in cryogenic storage, what they're going to do with those human lives. Because a lot of them get abandoned. That's something the IVF industry admits in mainstream media. They say that they have a problem with it. There's millions of these embryos in frozen storage.
I'm sure.
So many of them get abandoned because eventually people stop paying for the storage or whatever. And so it's a real problem if we believe that they're human beings.
Right. So now that we're in agreement, that we're on the same page here, what are you here trying to do?
We're trying to, what I'm trying to do is convince other people that they need to make sure that they're doing everything that they can to make sure those human lives are taken care of. And I'm also trying to help people understand that through the process, there's embryos that are lost all along the way. So whether by attrition in the earliest stages, by selective reduction later.
But so are you standing out here accusing people of, because it says babies are murdered here.
Right.
So
it's not, what I'm saying is the
because
idea.
that's actually the false of what happens inside. Have you ever been
Okay.
in there? Have you ever gotten any knowledge from in there?
What I've talked
Do you
to.
have any experience in it? I'm asking. You're asking me questions.
Would you like,
I'm asking
would you like me to
questions.
answer your question?
Yeah.
Then let me answer. I've done a lot of research on it. I've done.
No, I didn't ask if you've done research. I've asked if
I
you've been
can't
in
know
there.
anything unless I've been in there. Is that
Okay,
what you're saying?
That's I asked the question.
No.
Had you been in there?
No, I haven't.
That
But are
is
you
simple
saying?
no.
Are you saying that I can't know anything?
No,
unless I've
I'm
been in
saying
there?
that you got on the internet to do your research.
That's people research things. That's how you do research.
Okay, but that's my point. Just because you get on the internet and read something, that means it's true?
When you read,
Admitted that
hold
it's
on,
human
hold
life
on.
and they
hold on. So,
human being.
hold on just a second. So, the research that I've done is from their material, not material I look at
Okay.
for the people that are saying
Okay.
what I'm saying. I've looked at their websites. I've looked at NIH. I've looked at CDC.
Okay.
I've looked at all those. I'm talking about facts. And the facts are that when it comes to IVF, you create human lives.
Correct.
In the early stages, many of them die by attrition, right? They just die because they don't develop as they should. And so there's a certain number that die at that
So are
stage.
you accusing, because we've had miscarriage, so are you accusing me? Is that,
Miscarriage isn't the same thing as
you just said they didn't make it. What's the
Right.
difference in that and a miscarriage?
the difference is God's in control of miscarriage.
God's in control of how many eggs my wife was able to produce.
Right.
He was in control of how much sperm I was able to produce. What's the difference?
The difference.
You don't even know why we're here. There's reasons why people are here.
I know. I've done that research. I know. I'm not. Listen.
No, but when you put signs out there like that, that groups me in that category, and I
Right.
don't like it.
Okay. But I'm trying to. You were asking me questions. I'm trying to give you the answer. You don't have to like my answer, but I'm giving you the answer. So the answer is that there's embryos that die in the early stages. There's also embryos that this is on them. The embryos later that get up to a certain point, they grade them. The top two grades are the only ones that make it to either transfer or being frozen, right? And so those that aren't meeting that standard are either destroyed or donated to science. These are human lives that are being destroyed or donated to science. That's a problem. I mean, you said you agree with me that it's a human life.
Right.
That's the issue.
I wish I was here by myself. I'd stand out here and argue with y'all all day. I know my wife's calling me right now, so I'm going to walk away.
I understand.
I expected this to go way different. I will tell you.
Right.
I'm not saying I walked over here expecting confrontation,
Right.
but I was.
Sure.
So
I understand why.
this win is great.
I
As thought
appreciate
it,
you.
I mean, honestly,
Good.
like I said, because as I was walking over here, I fully expected the confrontation.
Yeah.
So, again, I just don't like being categorized
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And I understand you're not necessarily putting me in that circle,
Right.
but at the same time, you are.
Yeah,
right?
I hear what
take,
you're.
And I personally
Yeah.
take offense to that.
Yeah.
Because, like we said, you people walk out thinking one thing, knowing nothing.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah,
because
I
she's
hear
calling
you.
me twice now.
Okay.
But you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
when I make comments like, "No, those are my children."
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
obviously, I understand things different
Yeah.
than other people, right?
Right,
So again, this went way different than I thought it was
Good.
going to.
Good. Well, I'm glad.
And y'all have every right to do what you're doing.
I appreciate you.
And I know you said you weren't harassing, but I've been told from people that
Oh,
it felt like harassment.
I
so
know. I know.
that's part
Hey,
of why I walked
I
out
appreciate.
like I
My
did.
name's John.
John Masoneer.
Nice to meet
Yeah.
you, man.
Booklets are written by Senator Dusty Devers. If you want to look into it, it has
Okay.
more information. Figure it's worth a shot.
I was just trying not to get punched.